Manchester United have asked Manchester City if Alexandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo can catch a lift with the City players on their plane to head over to Paris because they want to cost cut and don't want to send our two Ballon d'Or nominee players on their own private jets over to the ceremony. And getting into all of the information in that story on what is happening with Manchester United right now. We've got updates on Kobbie Martin as well and his hat-trick debut for the Reds. We're looking ahead to the game against West Ham tomorrow. This is your Forever United TV update. We're going into all the details, starting with that crazy story about Manchester United actually going to City and seeing if our players can get on the City plane and head over to Paris. Can we cadge a lift, please, neighbours? How much are Ineos trying to save? Oh my days. Welcome along, everybody. Please do get your comments in below and let me know what you think about this story as well. Do catch up with the show from earlier on today where we were talking about what was happening in the media and Ten Hag and his situation at the moment as well. Get them comments in on that as well, please. Hundreds of you have already done that, so please join the debate from this morning as well as what we're talking about right now. It is a bit of a weird one. I'm going to read through the story actually straight from the article from the Daily Mail. Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail is the one that's reported this. Manchester United asked rivals Manchester City if Alexandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo could catch a lift with their party of 8 nominees to the Ballon d'Or, only to be told the flight was full. Mail and Sport understands that the Premier League champions have chartered a private jet to ferry their sizable delegation to Paris for the Monday night awards ceremony. And in a move which may well raise eyebrows, it can be revealed that Manchester United asked their neighbours if they had any room for their two hopefuls. Sadly, for the Old Trafford Club, they were informed that there was no room on the flight and alternate arrangements had to be arranged. United are in the midst of a series of cost-cutting measures following the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe at the club and his Ineos group. Just tell me straight in the comment section, everybody, where do you feel with this one? It's a bit of a strange one. Like, one good thing that came out of last season was the celebration of Manchester United's young academy players coming through, and 2 of them to be involved in the Ballon d'Or ceremony, at least off one of our worst Premier League seasons ever, needs to be celebrated, surely. Is this a little bit over the top? Is this too much for Ineos? Are we trying to cut too many corners, a lot of people would say? Is it just, you know what? Celebrate the football for a change. It was supposed to be all about football. It was supposed to be all about putting the best opportunity out there, giving the best opportunity to all of these players coming through. And you've got 2 academy players who have come through Manchester United's ranks that have been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and we're trying to catch a lift with Manchester City's players who have 8. No chance of anyone winning it, as we know. Obviously, it's going to go to Vinicius Jr. I think that's quite clear. But still, should we at least be trying to celebrate the achievement of these 2 young academy Manchester United players? Was that what it was all about? I understand carbon footprints. I understand saving the environment, jumping on planes, sharing planes. It happens on international duty. But this is supposed to be a celebration. If anything, can we not just train them down there and get the Eurostar or something like that? Fast track them down there. It's quite a comical story, really, but it comes down to showing like how tight money is. Is this actually showing us what the bigger picture is at Manchester United, that we can't afford to send our players that have actually achieved something on a flight to Paris for, let's not kid ourselves, one of the biggest individual award ceremonies for any footballer on the planet in the Ballon d'Or? It's worth something, isn't it? It's worth spending a little bit of money for these 2 superstars at our football club to actually go there and rub shoulders with quality players, actually represent Manchester United on the greatest stage on the player side of things. Surely this is where United should be looking. And to try and cadge a lift with City, no, I'm not for it. I'm really not. I hate City. I don't like them. I'm a Manchester United fan through and through, as you all know. And just rubbing shoulders with Manchester City players, like sharing transport, it just doesn't sit right, does it? And surely the billions that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has got, Even the Glazers, like, put your hand in your pocket and celebrate 2 achievements here in these 2 players. Surely this is where United should be going with it. It's embarrassing in my opinion. But you tell me. Let me know in the chat, everybody. That's the first story that we're talking about today. I want to move on to the next story, which is another brilliant academy story from Manchester United's ranks. We've all been waiting for Chido Obi Martin to make his debut in the under-18s or under-21s. We did a story the other day about him being fast-tracked to the under-21s, but he's been blooded in the under-18s today against Nottingham Forest at the Aon Training Complex at Carrington, Manchester United's home base for the academy players. And bang, 14 seconds in, he gets his first goal. He then goes on to score 2 more goals in the first 14 minutes. Wow, wow, wee wow is the word you would use for Obi Martin. Like, what a debut. And we was all waiting. Is it hype? Is he just being blown up into this player that he's really not? Is he the real deal? Is it worth waiting around like we did in the summer for him to get all that ratification from the Premier League? Well, it does look like so far that he is the real deal. And you know what? He's actually a unit. When you look at him and you look at the size of him compared to some of the other Manchester United players, wow. What a day this should be for Manchester United's academy. The under-21s also beat, I can't remember who it was they actually played now. I think it was, I'm sure it was away at Newcastle. It might have been. Please apologise. I do apologise. Sorry for the under-21s. I can't remember which team it was now. It's just left my mind. Hopefully it'll come back to me in a minute anyway. But no, the under-21s won. The under-18s won. All that's left to do now is for the first team to maybe get that victory tomorrow against West Ham. We talked, like I said earlier on, please do make sure that you go and get involved in the conversation from this morning's video. I wanted to give it the full day so everyone could get their comments across. I've replied to loads of people in that. I wanted to make sure that that was what that video was all about, and everyone had their say on the situation right now with Ten Hag and everything that's going on with the club. Tomorrow is a massive day for Manchester United, and we need the win. We need the win. We are sitting in 13th place in the league again right now. Good results for other clubs around us today. And obviously, if Everton have a good result tonight as well, we will be going into that game against West Ham United in 14th position yet again. Yes, there are certain teams ahead of us that have dropped points, like Villa, like Brighton in the last minute as well. So that's promising. If we do get a win, then we could actually catch up and gain a little bit of ground. But I think the reality is, and what we spoke about this morning, how Ten Hag talking and where United are at right now, we're not in a great place. And it's just about results. It really is. And United just, the only way that you stop any sort of negativity flowing around Manchester United, or any club for that matter, is by winning games. And United just need to start winning games. It's as simple as that. Just win some bleeding games, for God's sake. But it's easier said than done. And no, Manchester United were down in, I think they were down in Leyton Orient actually training this afternoon using their facilities there ahead of the game against West Ham. Obviously not wanting to travel tomorrow, so United are already in London, ready to go. We can confirm that within the pictures of the training session, Bruno Fernandes and Johnny Evans were back in training. Obviously, we'd expect Bruno Fernandes, because he's been suspended, to be there. He's come back into training, and Johnny Evans being the other one. So, multiple options and no excuses for injuries, Eric. None at all. Like I said this morning, let's not be silly now with our comments, and let's be realistic with the situation. And the situation is that United have plenty of players available for tomorrow. Will we be tired? Will we be worried? There is sort of like a concern right now that we're overplaying certain players and not playing other players as well in this game. Will Ten Hag think about shuffling his pack again? And you look at Diogo Dalot, for instance. He's playing every single game. Garnacho, he's had them knee straps on now for about 3 weeks. Is he going to take him out of the side? Are we going to see Ahmad? Is all the pressure that the media and the fan base putting on Ten Hag about Ahmad not playing going to actually come to fruition? And we may even see Ahmad against West Ham tomorrow afternoon. Look, hope springs eternal and all of that, but I think we've got a stubborn manager who's stuck in his ways, and we will see Bruno come back into this side. I don't know if Casemiro is going to play because he was rested. I think Ugarte needs to play and start getting used to getting some game time now as well. So, realistically, when you look at what's actually happening with the squad and how it's been rotated, are we going to see more of the same again tomorrow? I think it's probably likely. I think we are going to see some changes again against West Ham. He's going to have to freshen it up because we've had no recovery time. We've barely made it back into Manchester. I mean, for us to be in London today, we've been like half a day or whenever we arrived yesterday, and then we've flown straight out to London, it is hard on players, and the travelling around is definitely going to have an effect. Let's not forget, West Ham have had a full week preparation ahead of this game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Manchester United start the game as well. And please do drop your comments in below regarding the team. Would you bring Johnny Evans back in just because he's available? Are we starting to rely too much on certain players now? Personally, for me, I'll just give you my team right now and what I think we should be going with. Whether or not that changes and we get some information out throughout the night, I don't know. But I would go with the same back four, except I'd have Mazraoui in there, obviously. At right back, I'd have Dalot left back, and then you'd have De Ligt and Martinez in the middle. I'd have Ugarte in at number 6 again. He needs more game time, and I think it's time we started seeing more of him right now. I would then go with Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. I wouldn't play Bruno. I'm sort of just on the acceptance side of Bruno at the moment, and I feel like he's just going to play because Ten Hag has rested him, and we all know that ploy that he did with playing Mazraoui at 10, so he didn't have to put Eriksen or Xerxes there, and therefore not having a difficult selection choice this weekend. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's poor. I think it's shocking management, to be honest, at the moment. But look, if the players turn out tomorrow, is anyone going to be bothered about that? Of course I am, because I go in depth and I think about things like this, and I think about the detriment to these players later on down the line. But this manager will only use that down the line to complain and moan about injuries again. So yeah, hopefully he rotates it the right way. I don't think we need to change too much, because certain players really haven't had enough game time in this team so far. West Ham bring a big threat. We'll talk more about the game tomorrow in the build-up and the warm-up to the actual show before we jump on to the watch-along. By the way, do make sure that you drop down into the description. You will see the link there for the Big Up Watch-Along platform. That is where we are doing all of our watch-alongs this season for the away games. And we'll be starting at 1:30 tomorrow for the West Ham game as well. To go over all of the headlines again, just to make sure that you are clear. Manchester United ask Manchester City if Kobbie, Mainoo and Alexandro Garnacho can jump a lift on their plane heading out to the Ballon d'Or ceremony on Monday night. Quite embarrassing, to be honest. City declined, politely apparently, and United have now had to make other arrangements to get Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo to the ceremony. Is disgrace the right word to use? Is it a disgrace that Manchester United are actually asking City for a lift? Should we not be celebrating the achievements of two of our academy players rather than trying to scrape the barrel and save money? I think we should just celebrate the football side of it. I thought that's what Ineos were here to do. Football comes first. And when it comes to transporting players to one of the biggest ceremonies in world football for players on an individual level, we're not willing to do it. It's a bit of a shame, to be honest. It really is. But look, you may not think it is much. I think just rubbing shoulders with City and being pally-pally and sharing planes, I don't want to see it. I really don't. And I don't like Ineos' approach to this. It's going to be another one of them on the no column for people with Ineos, I feel. But you tell me in the comment section below, everybody. Make sure that you give this video a like. Make sure you tune into the other videos which are up on your screen now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everybody. And your bell notification is on for all of the content coming up. It is all going to be flooding in tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we've got the build-up from about 1 o'clock. Then we're on to Big Up for the watch along at 1:30, and then we're going to have the reaction with Jay. And no matter what happens tomorrow, we may even have more content later on at night as well. It's going to be jam-packed. Appreciation for all of you tuning in. Thank you, everybody. I will see you bright and early in the morning for match day.